Welcome back to the Changing Earth podcast with author Sarah F. Hathaway and co-host Chen Gibson. Blending survival, fiction, and fact to bring you entertaining education that will help you dream, survive, and thrive. And now, here's your host, Sarah F. Hathaway and Chen Gibson.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Changing Earth podcast. Hey Chen, what is up?
Hey, Chit's up.
All right, man. We're
Got
happy to have you.
Holiday weekend vacation going on.
Yeah. If you're if his audio is a little spotty, you know, we're pulling things on the fly. So that's what we got.
A squirrel interrupted my satellite link.
Exactly. He was ziplining by or something, and yeah. All I could think of was a little squirrel on a zip line. So, well, we had some
Play
really
like Mission Impossible.
yeah, his little black ninja outfit. We had some really interesting stuff go on with our Earth while you were gone. So I'm gonna have to catch you up on a little bit of that because it's kind of affecting like the New Madrid zone and stuff. So we'll do a little bit of catch up.
You need to stop getting into this stuff so much because it's taking its toll on our poor Earth. It can't handle all your hobbies now.
Manifest destiny and everything. Yeah. Like I think it when I write things in my books, then it happens. Right? And now I'm like thinking about this stuff all the time and it's just going crazy. Yeah.
Gonna flood the country.
So I was thinking, that we just have a conversation today on life if we lost power, and then I've got a lot of Changing Earth information to bring. So today is just kind of going to be a brain dump on just like things that just come up when we start talking about this topic. And then in the coming shows, we're going to delve in deeper to certain areas because Chen's been out networking. We got a lot of people that have their 2 cents to put in on this topic and some great information to bring. So today is kind of going to be the tip of the iceberg, the brain dump. Yeah, the brain dump. So, Denise is with us in the chat room. If you guys want to be part of the live chat, head on over to Twitch. It's the Changing Earth podcast at 5:30 Central Standard Time on Sunday. That's when we go live, and we'd love to have you over there. So always come out and do that. Also, guys.
Hi, Denise.
Yeah.
Sorry I don't have enough bandwidth to type and chat with her tonight. But.
Yeah, that's what happens when you're up in the mountains there.
Yep.
Also, if you guys head over to my podcast, we could really use the support, of course, over changingearthseries.com. Become a member, become a paid member. I've got lots and lots and lots of free members, and that's great. But man, $3 a month, come on, help the show out. Help us keep bringing you this great news and show your support. So changingearthseries.com. Get over there, you get some free books, you have lots of fun and lots of great material. Yep, Chin is up. He's up at the up in the country zone. So he's not typing today.
Get out of the city any chance I can now.
Oh, and we got the Fletch man with us too.
Very nice.
On the chat, yeah. It's always good to have the family member chiming in. Son of a prepper, that's what we call him for short. Well,
he's not out canning pickles right now?
Yeah, that's what. That's what. Yeah, Fletch. Chin was like, I was like, they had a whole box canning pickles at the store. Chin's like, well, what's Fletcher doing tomorrow? I'm like, good point. Good point.
A little pregame conversation we had.
Yeah, a little pregame baseball. It's getting to be about that time. We're talking cans, and we're going to talk a little bit about it today because the jars have been just hard to come by. So when you find them, pick them up. But hopefully we're solving that myriad of problems. But we'll see. We'll see. It's good to know they're in the store, and they were on sale for you, so that's great. I should have had a peek myself.
Yeah, I found them in a grocery store a couple weeks ago.
Right? Yeah.
Stocked up.
You got to right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to tell Jane's story from last year. She was like, "Don't you tell Rick." I'm like, "Oh no, me? Oh man, come on. You know I would never use leverage against you. It's not gonna happen."
Don't tell my husband.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's just not in Sarah's MO at all.
Mhm.
So right now it's a little bit interesting. Still interesting times in our year. Yeah. So Denise just chimed up that she's got a tiny garden this year. Probably won't have anything to can. You know, I've been having problems with my garden this year too. It is small. I mean, I was hoping for like lots of green beans, to be doing green beans, tomatoes. My cucumbers are finally picking up. So hopefully I am going to have my own canning cucumbers to be able to do that with. But if you can find your local farmers markets, that's what's been our whole mission. And at our grocery stores, thank God, and I know that you're also down in Texas, Denise, they have lots of locally grown products there. So that's great on them, for doing that.
Yeah, we have that here too.
Mm-hmm.
Up in the Carolinas, they have like a whole section of locally grown stuff in the supermarket.
Yeah, love that. I mean, way to support our local community. It's a really great little grocery store chain that we have. Like I say, even when the power was out, they were like trucking. They couldn't get the big trucks in. So they got out the 4-wheel drives and they're, bringing product in and stuff. I mean, it's cool. It's cool to see that type of,
I love that.
Yeah. Community rally, so yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Are you permanently up in Ohio, Denise, or is it Texas? I think she's up in Ohio for a while. So she said it snowed up there in Ohio. Are you serious right now? In May.
I was complaining about 65-degree weather when I woke up this morning.
Wow. Yeah, dude, that's out of season right there. That is more to add to our Changing Earth news right there. Hey, man, I love it. Chime in, you guys, because I want to know what you're experiencing here. So, yeah, it is pretty warm for a garden down here in Texas, but we have multiple seasons, so that's a good thing. Wow.
My wife's patio tomatoes are going bonkers.
Are they?
She's already had tomatoes in her salad from them.
Yeah, you guys on the East Coast, you've been getting it pretty soft this year compared to the central,
last year she
drought.
didn't have any luck with tomatoes. So this year she's got like 10 tomatoes growing, and she already picked one for a salad last week.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, right.
So it's hit and miss around here for some reason. And I gave some tomatoes to my neighbor because we had a bunch of extra ones. He planted half in one pot, half in the other. Same dirt in there. One grew super tall. One's all stunted out, kind of like ours are. I'm like, what? This doesn't make any sense.
The wrong plant.
Right? It just doesn't make any sense. I don't get it. We are putting on some growth now. Something. I need to buy some pinwheels and put them in my garden because the swallows, I think, get in there and they snip them sometimes. I'm noticing some of my plants are actually snipped. And I'm obviously not thrilled about that.
Your pellet gun, get some practice.
Yeah, that's what I told my husband. He's like, we don't live out on 40 anymore. I'm like, well, airsoft bullet take down a bird.
That's right. That's right.
No problem.
Just saying, it's good practice.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
It's so expensive to go to the range nowadays.
Right. Yeah. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about the power going out, because what we're looking at on a planetary scale is a very big potential for power or grid to go down. Even in the last little gentle CME that hit on Australia, I don't think you heard this one. One of their power plants exploded at the same time. It's like, of course, yeah. Of course, media.
Like a municipal power plant?
Yes.
Major?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. When the CME came in. And of course, our media's not going to link those together because they don't want anybody talking about this stuff, even though it's going crazy across our globe right now. Yeah. One of their power plants blew up at the same time as that CME came in. That CME should have been like a little nothing. It should not have like affected our planet that hard at all. And
how big was the affected area?
Not very large because it came in so low down there. But where it hit in, yeah, it actually exploded a power plant there. So I mean, they're not going to say that's a correlation. It's just a strange coincidence, right? Like the piece of road blowing out of the road in Florida. Just wow, it's just crazy that happened at the same time as CME came in. So yeah, pretty interesting, right?
I didn't hear about that. That's crazy.
I know. That was Ben had it on Suspicious Observers, and he was like, it's not gonna be I mean, they're not bringing any of this. I just told you about the Africa thing. Like, you didn't even, right? I mean, how much had you heard about?
Yeah, you sent me that news story about the lakes on fire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, you've got to dig to find this information. They are doing a beautiful job of just keeping everybody in the dark, so everybody just gets their zombie shots, and so.
Of course.
Yeah, I don't know.
What did I do is I sent you the Deep Purple Smoke on the Water video.
yeah.
Sorry, my mind's a little twisted.
No, I like it. I actually enjoyed that too. I was like, oh. All right. It's like
a little classic rock.
Yeah, it's like Skip. Skip would have sent me something like that. So.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny.
So really, this topic of power being down, this is what really got me involved this is what's fueled my fire to write my first novel.
Yeah.
Because I was down at the river with my girlfriends one time, and I'm like, what if we lost power? And my girlfriends were like, yeah, we wouldn't have our blow dryers and curling irons.
That's the funniest story.
I know.
I love that.
And I was just like,
blow dryer will be gone.
Blow dryers and curling irons, like for real? So I'm thinking like computers, I'm thinking refrigeration, and it kind of
conditioning.
Yeah, it just kind of gave me a window into like how naive some people are to the whole idea of how reliant we are upon these things in our society.
Which is mind-blowing, because with winter ice storm power outages and summer like hurricanes and stuff, how could people not? It just blows my mind.
Well, back then in California, the only time we would have a power outage is if it was, rainy in the wintertime, like if we got snow down too low in the mountains, There was hardly any power outages back then. So there wasn't things that we were really thinking about unless it was like a huge storm. You don't have like the hurricanes coming in. You don't have those type of.
I know, but it show like how many hurricanes do we have to show people what the force of nature is?
Yeah,
and to show that even tinfoil hats don't have to make up this kind of stuff. It happens.
It happens.
Right?
Yeah, it's like large and in charge right in front of your face if you just want to see
every year. Like Andrew, Sandy. There are all these storms that happen and people major outages.
Yeah, so COVID really was like a smack on the face for them. The PG&E power outages have been a smack on the face for them.
Big time. Yeah.
So,
even Texas now, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Can't believe it followed me down here. So, anyway, I was like, okay, I don't want to just like preach to people. I hate preaching to people. I want to be able to, gently, open up the eyes with this epic story of like, man, this could be you going to work one day and everything changes. And what are you going to do?
Get that bottle of wine for that stupid customer.
Right. Reaching for the shelf and boom, now your whole world. Yeah. And then for, Vince's side, he's sitting there at home waiting for her to come home from work. No family plan, no game plan of where, if things go south, this is where we're going to meet. Pre-planned provisions to have and things like that. So, so that's why that's what fired me up to be like, okay, I've got to, get this message out to people in doing so, I opened up so myself so much for so much more learning. It's been an incredible journey. I met Chin, and so so
No, don't stop the podcast.
yeah. Oh, that was funny. Oh, this is total side note, squirrel. I was on Thursday. I was on Facebook Live with L. Douglas Hogan in his Apocalypse author show. And we're like going along, and he's like, yeah, you got thrown off Facebook because you're naughty and all this stuff. And then like his video just starts like screwing up on his side. He's like, oh my God, I don't know if we're live. He had to like do the communications check and everything. I'm like, dude, I told you, you can't have me on Facebook.
Like the walking prepper catastrophe.
I know. I'm like, I didn't do anything, I swear. I guess they just don't want to hear about me. I don't know. So, but that was fun. It was a good show. Go check that out. It's the Apocalypse Book Club, and I'm really bad. He had a name for it, and I suck. You can look up L. Douglas Hogan and get it there. And I didn't link it because I can't go on Facebook. I guess I should put it up somewhere for people to check out. It was a fun show. Okay, so off the squirrel. First thing on my list is still, to this day, communications, even though that's kind of an area I fall short with. And Chin knows it. He's constantly on me about that one.
I even spent money in this project.
Hey.
We cared about it.
I got the other radios too, Yeah, little chippy.
I might be put in timeout.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't speak up to the boss like that.
Yeah, no, I don't mind taking a little bit of the heat for it, because it is an area where I am still slacking, And one of the things that happened when the power went down for so long in California, and I don't know if this is true of everywhere, but it was a very interesting thing. Everybody always says that the landlines will still be good. That the landlines will still work, right? Even when the power goes down. That's not true. It wasn't true in our area,
They have little
at least.
batteries.
Yeah.
I don't know the whole scientific thing of it, but I know that there's batteries in the substations, and once those go down. And the other problem is, like, what I experienced that got me into ham radio was all the circuits got overloaded. Everybody tried to get on the phone at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So even if there was power, there was circuits getting overloaded, so you couldn't get through.
Right, yeah.
I mean,
they needed...
I had enough power to hear this call cannot go through.
Yeah, right. And they needed generators for that stuff. It was just swamped. And I don't even have a landline anymore. Like, I don't know how many people still do have landlines.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, we don't. We haven't had a landline in
years. Yeah, I'm thinking like 10.
Years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least like 10 years. Well, we had to have DSL dial up. They had to have a phone line to our house because of that.
Oh no, we had
because we're up in the mountains.
Internet, but
until they upgraded it. So, but yeah, it's definitely food for thought. Now we have solar power chargers for our cell phones. Well, that's great. They work really good. Don't get me wrong. But when there's no sun and you're like constantly using them, those chargers don't keep up. They didn't keep up out at North Carolina. They didn't keep up at all. So I don't know if that would be something to rely upon.
Need more batteries.
Right.
Need more batteries.
Yeah. So I don't know. Need backup batteries.
Yep.
Maybe bigger cells. We sell those ones on the store that have like the big sheeted solar cells. It's like a big roll of solar cells. I don't know if that would be better than just the little ones that we have. Then if we're talking, potential CME coming at the Earth, that's going to blast, the transformers and stuff like that. Is that going to affect the satellites? Which, yeah, if they're in the right place, absolutely. We just had a huge ejection come off the sun that wasn't earth facing, but it hit one of the satellites like dead on. So, yeah, we got to be aware of, you might not be able to use that technology.
Mm-mm.
So the ham radios are great. The little handhelds are awesome. I'm sure if you had backup batteries and things like that, my problem would be charging them without power.
Yep.
Also, so when it goes out, it has to go far. It has to go to like a pickup station. What's it called? The transfer station or
a repeater?
A repeater.
Yep.
A repeater. So don't those require power as well?
Well, it depends. So it depends on, do you have a handheld or do you have like a base station with more power?
Mm-hmm.
'Cause like a handheld's only like 5 to 8 watts of power. I mean, base station's up to like 100 watts and so or more, I guess. But so like those will go farther. I mean, people can literally talk. My club did a test back when I was in a club from South Carolina down to Texas. We just talked. We erected an antenna in the field, and they were doing like hospital drills. If power went out, could hospitals talk to each other? So they're trying to set up a network of ham radio operators to be able to let
Oh, that's cool.
hospitals talk to each other.
Yep.
And our club participated in that. So yeah, we talk long distances. It just depends on what your equipment is. Like what we have with the little bow thing, those are just good for like around town.
Right. Yeah. Just for keeping like
2
communications
miles,
with your
maybe.
family open.
I mean, if you were like up on a mountain talking down or something, you might get a little more
But
mileage.
all that equipment requires power too. So if those what do you call the repeaters? If they don't have power at their stations, then you're cut. You're not going to repeat.
Like the cell phones that we're talking about. Yeah.
Yep.
They don't.
Yep. Yeah. So again, that's, I don't know. It's going to be tough. I mean, that's why they used to have like newspapers and heralds and things like that, was to keep the news flowing across
and
the country.
like shortwave radio, you listen to that.
Oh, fair
you
enough.
won't be able to talk, but you can listen. So you'll get news from further off, and then you use your little radios to communicate back and forth.
Yeah, as long as everything stays standing.
And people can like relay messages. Like I could call you in the next town, and you in the next town could call somebody like the town on the side. You can do relays like that too. You just have to be organized. I mean,
pre-organized. Yeah.
Great. Yeah. But
okay,
so if not, it's the luck of the draw.
So communication's gonna get really interesting, and that could be a big problem because.
I just pick up the iPhone and dial out.
No, and you can't just jump on the internet or any of that. So, refrigeration, of course. Like I said, my mind went communication, refrigeration. Yes, can and pickles, but you have to have a severe amount of vinegar to do that. Right? So pickling is a great method. However, this is the hiccup I've been hitting in my own brain. Is that's why I learned how to make vinegar. I haven't done it yet myself, which I really need to.
Isn't that like making wine?
It is like making wine. It's like making bad wine, right? It is. It's like making.
Be good at that. Then.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, you should be able to do that. It's making wine that goes past its expiration date. Basically, it turns to vinegar, and then it grows a mother culture in it. And once the mother culture grows in that product, then you can take a little bit of the mother culture and add it to any kind of fruit juice or whatever. And it's going to turn that quicker. So you don't have to wait as long.
For like, my wife's got that for making kombucha.
Yep.
That mother.
Yeah.
SCOBY or something. It's a SCOBY or whatever.
And they do it like for sourdough bread and stuff too.
Yeah.
There's like the culture. Yep. So that's really the key, and you can make your own. And if you get unpasteurized apple cider vinegar, it has like some of it floating in there and stuff. So I don't know if you can use that. It'd be a good experiment.
I don't know.
Take that out and put it in like some apple cider and see what you could do with it. So, so that you got to have the vinegar And you have to have a container to put things in, and the jars. That's where the jar topic comes up, because we all use jars nowadays. They seal down. They keep your product for a long, long time, which is great. But if you didn't have access to the jars, which we've all kind of been experiencing since the pandemic last year, what are you going to do?
What about this isn't there, but what about like spring houses and root cellars and
right?
that kind of stuff too?
Yeah, you'd put it, just in any kind of container and then keep it in a cold, dark space. It's going to keep longer.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Fletch is like, just learn glass blowing. I don't know that that's how they make jars. Oh, yeah. No, it's all about sealing and reusing the lids. There's that one company that has reusable lids. I still have never checked it out. I'm old school, so I just keep doing what works,
I was talking to Granny Pam about that. Pam from the
from Prepper Camp.
Yeah. So she was talking to me about there's some lids and stuff that are really good for sealing, reusable stuff. I should get that.
And Fletch chimed up wax, another great thing you can use.
Oh yeah.
Yep. So bees, and we're gonna talk a little bit about bees here in a minute. Well, actually, let me just throw it in. So
my mom used to put that on top of
the jellies. Yep, paraffin wax, right?
Yeah, paraffin. Yep, that's right.
And the beehives, they've been having a massive increase in beehives, which is great. We need to save our bees. They're so important for our gardens, for our food, for everything. So it's so good to see that on the uptick. Honey, I hate bees, so I'm not going to do it. Like, no. Maybe
I'm surprised at how many friends that have popped up that actually had bees.
Yeah.
I've got 3 or 4 friends that have beehives on their property, which I didn't know that.
It's great.
But I'm like, I'll do anything you want me to do to help you, but I'm not messing with the bees.
No, I'm not messing with the bees. Yeah, so, but the honey is a great trade item also for, future, if it was a economic type collapse or some types of societal collapse.
Well, honey, if you're good at working bees, being able to set up a hive on somebody else's property because it's good for the gardens and stuff, and the
good skill to have.
Yeah,
and you can make beehives out of like anything. I mean, you don't have to buy like the special. You can make them out of a file cabinet, So file cabinets are very versatile. You can make a smoker. The old metal ones that everybody's like throwing out for the wood ones and that. You can make them into a lot of different things, come to find out. So, I don't know. Keep your eyes open for them old filing cabinets. Fletcher's
those are like curbside alert all the time for those file cabinets. People are getting rid of them.
Right, exactly, because people are getting rid of them. Yeah, and you can make them into smokers. Beehives. Yeah. And Fletch also says they have the beehives that extract the honey without the work. So you can buy like the upgraded, the millennial beehive. Yeah.
They're like horizontal instead of vertical.
Yeah, that's pretty cool though. I mean, way to think it through. That'd be epic, because I would consider that more than I don't want to mess with the bees. So, I mean, I got stung 36 times by those wasps, and that's like the 3rd attack I've had in my life. I don't know. They just really like attacking me. I know they were wasps and not bees, but sorry, guilty by association.
Stop.
So it's going to be really important. Like right now, we're talking about the grocery stores, how they have, a bunch of pickling cucumbers because they're in season. It's going to be really important to look out for those types of things that are in season. Buy them when they're in season so that you can figure out a way to store them, however you go about doing that. Also, things that store long term, pumpkins. You can buy like tons of pumpkins around October, and they will store. I mean, I just got rid of these pumpkins because I didn't use them, but they were good all the way up till like April from last October. Yeah.
Could have made some pies.
I was gonna can them. I like to can them because then I make a lot of things with pumpkin, and pumpkin cream cheese muffins are the bomb. So,
Sounds
but
good.
I just never got around to it. It was only like 4 of them, so not a big deal. But yeah, just little ones, not like big ones. Potatoes will store as long as it's in a cool, dark place. They store a long time. Winter squash, but you need that cool, dark place. And then it's best to like wrap them in like a paper bag or a fabric or a straw even, because it just helps them stay separated from each other and helps them stay better longer. Of course, pickling, like we said, you can pickle anything. Salt was very, very, very important for preservation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, eggs.
Which is something you could stock up on.
Yeah.
Salt.
You can do raw egg. Yeah, yes, stock up on salt. Very important because if you're planning on pickling and stuff too, you need that salt. You need kosher salt.
Yep.
But you also need to iodize salt because iodine is very important for your body. So stock up on the iodized salt as well.
The table salt, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, both kinds. You need them both. And I stock vinegar too, of course. But, and then, so salting, it was a way that people used to preserve meat. You can also store eggs in salt. They'll store for a really long time that way. You can pickle your eggs. You can,
we do that.
Yeah, you can boil them to a hard boiled and can them that way as well. And then there's dehydrating and freeze drying. The freeze drying machines are really expensive. So if
everybody wants one.
Oh man, I would. Like if everybody wants to make a donation to the changing
We'll each take one.
Yeah, for real. We could just trade it off. I'll just bring it to North Carolina with me, and then you can have it for the next year. Yeah, and then we'll just trade it back and forth.
That's a good idea.
Right? I know. But
Okay, so listeners, you only have to get one. You know, I was being greedy with 2.
yeah. We'll share. That's no problem. Yeah, we can do that. But yeah, freeze dryers are really expensive. They do a great job though, and of course you're gonna have your food. They do require electricity, so you're gonna have to figure out that end of it. But and then dehydrating. So I don't even have a dehydrator right now. I don't know. My mama bought like this cheesy one, and it kind of turned me off of dehydrators. But they're very effective, and they've got it dialed in now, and they're not as expensive as a freeze dryer, that's for sure. I do.
You like the Chevy dehydrator.
I like the Chevy I mean, you just put it on a cookie sheet, and then you can put it inside the car. It's hot, and it dehydrates it for you. Your car is probably never going to smell the same. But, if we're talking like post-collapse and you don't have gasoline for that vehicle anyway, and, might as well make use of it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then reading like The Little House in the Big Woods, the Charles, the Laura Ingalls books, they used to just, put them out on cheesecloth and just let them dry out. And I mean, so that is what it is. I'm sure you lose like a certain percentage of your product to bugs and birds and things like that. But sun dry it, so it works. Got to go old school with this stuff. You gotta put on your old school thinking caps. Pick up some of the books that talk about it. My favorite is still the Good Housekeeping Back to Basics book. They don't produce it anymore, but you can find it used. And that book takes you from like A to Z on where to put your house, how to build it, how to do a compost toilet, like everything old school. How to make furniture. I mean, the gardens, what to eat, how to do animal hides. It's so... it's the Bible of it for sure. You're spotting in and out on me again. You better stand on one arm or on one leg.
It's those ninja squirrels. Get away!
Yup, ninja squirrels. Get out of here. We gotta have Chin for the show. And then, so electricity production, and we can go into this. I know you want to go into this in more depth on a later show. But, guys, you really have to start thinking about, I got an old bicycle, right? We could ride and make power.
And kids.
Right. Yeah, and kids. Exactly. So, the transistor, from what I understand, is a really important piece of the puzzle. Because you have to turn it from the DC into AC. So you have to have like the
Or like that book I was telling you about.
yes.
A lot of what he does is uses DC stuff.
Right.
So like if you could do backup stuff with like RV, we were just talking about this over the dinner table. Not you and I, but
yeah,
me and some friends. It's like we should like just put like some RV lights and fans and stuff in our homes because they all run off a 12 volt.
Right.
So you don't have to do the conversion. You don't lose energy in converting to AC.
To AC from the DC.
So it's really, you could hook any car battery up to that system and it would run. So
it's good stuff. We need to go into that more.
I need to reread this book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe we can get him on the show.
Yeah, I think I'll reach out to him.
Yeah. So panels are great. Solar panels are great. A lot of people that have solar panels, though, they don't have batteries. They don't have the transistors. They don't have the systems that actually use the power. Right. They're just tied back into the system. So that's definitely something to think about. The Tesla battery is freaking awesome. I mean,
that's a big weak point. Weak point in doing
solar.
it that way. You don't have backup for yourself.
Exactly. So you're kind of screwed.
I mean, financially you save money, but you don't. That rainy day you're not set up for it.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I say, they've come a long way with the battery technology. It's just they're so back ordered still on those Tesla batteries that if you can get a hold of one. And the amount of different earth products that they need to keep doing, electric cars and the electric batteries and all this stuff. I don't know. I don't know what the future.
The F-150 is now electric.
Yeah, exactly, dude. And in 10 years, those batteries cost like $13,000 or whatever. I mean,
well, in 10 years, we're not going to be able to buy a gas car.
Right. Will they still
it's going to be a black market.
I know, but even the batteries, will they make that? If you spend all that money on a vehicle now, will they make that specific battery then?
I don't care. I'm not buying an electric car.
Right? I'm not either, man. No.
I gotta love my wife. My wife was just talking as we were driving up here. She goes, "We need to get another diesel car."
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
No Prius for her.
Generators. So generators are great. They have generator systems for your house now and all kinds of cool stuff like that. So for me, ideally, our generator used to run off our propane tank. So you got to worry about when your propane is going to run out, blah, blah, blah. Better than gasoline, though. Because when the pipeline went down back east, you saw how quick people are going crazy. And whenever there was an outage coming in California, the gas station was sold out in 15 minutes. I mean, it's insane. So I don't think that gasoline's the best way to run a generator. We've talked about the gasifier in the past. It's kind of a big ordeal to put that together. And you have to have something to burn, even if that's cow pies. But here we have natural gas on the city line, so that's what I'd like to hook it to. You can burn cow pies in those. Anyway, so I digress. I would like to hook the generator to the natural gas line. However, how long will the utilities last? Right? I don't know that either. I don't know the answer to that question. So then you're looking at water and all kinds of problems that we're not even going to discuss today.
I just saw a hydro generator in Craigslist.
Oh.
You could hook it up to a stream or something.
Well, I don't have a stream either.
I know, but just for other alternate.
I was talking about this.
I couldn't believe I saw it on Craigslist.
Yeah, with James last week, and we were like, everybody's like, "Oh, I know a good water source." What? How many other people know that same water source and are going to be going there? Everybody's going to need water.
Yeah.
It's a, yeah. I don't know. Everybody needs to eyeball that and like really, really think about the water issue because, yeah. Oh, and Denise says, and propane stays stores longer. Denise is back. Yeah, and it does.
I have those little, not little, but you can pick it up generator. It's dual fuel, so it's gas and propane. So you can hook like your grill tank up to it, or you can pour gas in the tank.
Yeah, ours was that way, but you had to like run it one way or the other. You couldn't like just switch back and forth.
Yeah. Well, I mean, no, I have a switch. I can just switch it over which way it goes. Yeah. I bought it just that way.
Back in the propane storage just made me think about this. In like the big desert towns, like out in New Mexico and stuff, they'll have huge propane storage tanks underground for like, so they just store massive amounts of propane. So if those get hit and fractured by earthquake or earth movement, not a good thing. I wrote that. Yeah, I wrote that into Without Land, I believe. Okay, so I'm going to kind of end with this. The forecast is like if we lost power, it would really be like 6 months till like 80% of the population is gone. That is spooky sauce right there. That's just because personally, that's why I'm on the air. That's why I wrote my books. That's why I'm talking to you guys, because I believe we can do better as a species than that. I think we could come together. I think we should come together. I think we can take ways to prepare ourselves now. And I understand it's going to be scary, and I understand that resources are going to be slim. But I don't know if I'm just like, I don't know. This is like the God-fearing side of me. The good, we can do good things together if we just all work together and take care of each other instead of, turning against each other and fighting over scraps for, that, it's not going to last everybody that long. So why not work together and try to make the best out of whatever we have? And we can certainly do that. It's just being able to adapt and overcome. It's not like it's far out there. It's just a matter of keeping your head on your shoulders and realizing that we can do it together instead of being freaked out and going to battle with one another. That's what I really don't want to see happen. Also a reason why I wrote my books. So, and a fun thought experiment. All right. So let's go into the Changing Earth news. James said he's going to give me the music for it. So
yeah, the ticker tape kind of
thing. Okay. Really interesting stuff. I always say really cool, and I know like this affects a lot of people, so I hesitate to say like really cool, but there's been some really interesting stuff going on. So let's start last week, like the 24th. We had three CMEs coming at us, and it was going to be just like small ones, but the volcano in the Congo, the volcanic activity just increased there. It erupted, and it only made it to the airport in the town of Goma. So that was cool. It looked like it was going to hold up. They started letting people back into the city, everything, which probably wasn't the best move. But so they were like, okay, that happened. In China, there was this whole marathon of runners that were up in the mountains, and they got this freak blizzard event. They're all out there in like t-shirts and shorts, right? They got this freak storm, this freak winter snap that comes through. Their eyelids were literally frozen together. All of them died. 21 people dead from just these freak winds, hail. Yeah. This cold that just came in. This is like, I'm thinking like day after tomorrow, where like the cell just comes over and boom, everybody's frozen. I mean, we have the mammoths that were frozen with food in their mouth. We know this happens. And here is an exact example of it happening. It's crazy. So a lot of interesting things. They think that the biggest victim of the 12,000 year cycle last time may have been Atlantis. And of course, they have a potential spot for it of where it might be. You guys can do your own research there out in Africa, though. But very interesting stuff to kind of check out. It's called the Eye of Africa. And they think this might have been Atlantis. So government's known about this 12,000 year cycle for a long time, as I've been telling you guys. What do you think about the Atlantis stuff, Ted? I guess still got you? Oh, you're patchy. I'll keep going. Yeah, you got your ninja squirrel.
You can hear me now?
Yeah, I got you now. Yeah. Yes, I got you now.
I have to move the phone.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. One leg in the middle of the floor. Put your arm up as an antenna.
I need to get my pellet gun and start shooting those damn ninja squirrels with 6
I'm telling you. Okay, so the CMEs, like I said, they should have been like minute. They should have been really small. But they hit Australia was a 300 to 500% increase in the electromagnetic activity there, and so they're definitely not going to peg it on it. But this power plant did explode there, and we should have felt the full effects. They came across the rest of the Earth was pretty well nothing. It was good. So they were thinking that they might kind of gang up, join together and create a bigger influence, but they didn't. They stayed waved out, so it didn't really affect the rest of the planet that hard. So one of the reports that I was really interested in was this one on sea levels, because I'm, been researching a lot on the fact that they say, well, because of all this CO2 in the air, the sea levels should definitely be higher and things like that. And they're not rising. They're not increasing at the level that they thought they should be, which is all pretty interesting stuff given the, accreditation that they do to carbon dioxide in the air and how we're all evil villains for producing it. So they're figuring out that it's not the CO2 that's the major catalyst. It's the sun. And so that's good news, finally, that they're starting to, maybe CO2 is not the villain we thought it was. They'll never say that out loud, though, because they have too much of our structure built on it right now. Yeah. They have too much control over the people.
Too much of the game plan hinges on that.
Exactly. Yeah. So even though the science is changing behind it, nobody's actually saying it. So the sunspots were calming around the 26th. What are we at, the 30th now? So everything was looking pretty calm on the sun about that point. We had a big one that was a big sunspot that was leaving. It made this huge outburst, but it wasn't Earth facing. It was barely going to glance us. That should be here Monday night, but still, it's not going to be a big deal. So that was really good. But the amount of volcanic activity and earthquake activity on our planet is just off the chart right now, guys. Alaska is just getting hit with earthquakes. They got volcanoes erupting. What was my last number on the amount of volcanoes? I think it was 42 that were erupting on our planet right now, and some big ones. Like that one in Goma, that's going to put up some serious stuff into our atmosphere. We will see the effects of that. So being prepared, taking these steps, it's really, really important. The amount of particulates are just going to grow. 42 volcanic eruptions last week. We have the record accumulation of ice on Greenland again, which is good news, right? But when you start accumulating ice, it helps to cool the earth more. And with the solar activity, with the volcanic activity, with the amount of wildfires that are burning across Canada, Russia, and then the fires created from the lava, that all puts more sulfur dioxide into our air. It's going to start blocking the sunshine. And that's what a lot of farmers are dealing with this year. Just really crazy years.
Mm-hmm.
Really crazy growing this year. And like I say, it's so hit and miss. I see like some people have like their gardens are just ripping, but most of us are just like, man, how did you do that? I don't know. I got to go learn from the old timers, I guess.
Yep.
So with this research that they're doing into the CO2 effects and things that are happening, they thought, if the warming ocean, that would kill the plankton and the krill, and that would destroy the ocean. It's having exactly the opposite effect. Like the krill and the plankton are just exploding in massive numbers. So that's some really good things that people aren't talking about. No.
That is.
Right?
Yeah, that's like how everything eats.
Yeah.
The little thing gets eaten by a little bigger thing, gets eaten by a little bigger thing, and that's the whole food chain, right?
That's the food
Plankton
chain.
and krill.
Yeah. And that's the very beginning of it all. And, the big whales, there's some big whales that eat that too. So it is. It's the beginning of it all. Mars is also looking pretty strange this year. They had the this cloud activity that came in, which is highly unusual, came in last year, and they were like, oh, well, it'll be okay. We're going to check out what happens next year. Same thing happened. So now we're looking at planetary changes across every single planet in the solar system. So if you think that Earth's going to be like the odd kid out, nothing's going to happen to us, right? Because humans live here. No. Not gonna happen.
Here, I thought getting my ticket to Mars was my saving grace, huh?
Right? Yeah. No, don't call up Elon too quickly.
Elon.
Yeah. So Goma was something I had my eye on big time, because the lake below this town is a storer of methane. So there's
Volcano, methane.
Yes.
What else could go wrong?
Exactly.
It sounds like a B-rated movie from Hollywood.
It pretty much is right now happening over there.
Right?
It could
It's
definitely,
like It's like sharks are going to be flying through the air.
No doubt. So that some of those lakes are so deep that they have like this layer underneath where it stores like methane and CO2 and stuff like that underneath the water. And it's fine as long as that's not disturbed, right? But if you disturb it and cause that to bubble up, that's a big problem. And we're talking
It's a blast.
Yeah, it's a blast, literally. Well, not only that, but the chemicals are toxic. So it'll just kill. Like if you're inhaling it, you're done for.
That's such a movie. That's like
right?
Sci-Fi Channel movie. There.
I know, but it's literally happening. I showed you. The lake is on fire.
Oh, goodness.
Like, it's crazy. And
you did show.
Yeah, and the lava is coming in. I mean, so Lake Kiva being on fire, that's what finally prompted them to get everybody out of the city. It was like, okay, we're not just doing a partial evacuation anymore. And then people were evacuating on their boats into the lake.
Don't ever listen to this come on back stuff after. It's like that's what happened to the Twin Towers. They're like, oh, you don't have to leave. Don't worry, And then the second plane hit.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And that's why when the first one went, they were like, oh, it's good.
Take your time.
It stopped, right before the airport. It's good. Town's going to be fine. It's like, well, everybody starts coming back. Yeah. And
Stop and collect data yourself before you start making.
Well, this gets deeper because I was talking about this last week, but it gets deeper. So they had to cut funding so this happened in 2002, not as severe, but the volcano erupted in 2002. And so the World Foundation or whatever, they gave them money to set up a monitoring station of this volcano. Because back then, like 150,000 homes were lost and like 20,000 people died or something like that. I have the numbers, but it was pretty bad, right? So this time around, they were like, oh, we're going to give you money to go ahead. Well, they quit funding the research because of corruption of handing that money out, right? So they weren't actually like watching the volcano. They were just like taking the money and, I don't know, having a ball with it or something.
No.
So, yeah. So now there was nobody there to watch the volcano, nobody there to give warning to these 2 million people. And so when the volcano erupted this time, they're like, oh, it's good. It's going to stop right there. It didn't. And then over in China, this is kind of similar. I mean, it's going to sound similar to the United States because we had massive flooding for a couple years. Then we had this cold streak. And so the farming's been slowed because of it. And but last year, do you remember China had massive flooding? Do you remember that?
Yep.
Like their three rivers or whatever all went nuts. That same thing is happening this year, even worse. And so their agricultural production is going to be just messed up from all this flooding. And if you've been at the grocery store watching prices and the shrinkflation, I mean, it's common, man. It's crazy. Like in the Bible when they say, it's going to take a man's wages just to feed himself for a day.
Mm-hmm.
I'm praying that's not where we're headed, but, So the quakes haven't just been around in the world out there. They've been here at home. Well, not here at my home or at your home. But Lake Tahoe has been getting hit with lots of earthquakes. And they just got another 4.0 up there. The water showing signs of heating. And I'm like, LA has also been taking some earthquakes. Oklahoma has been getting hit with more earthquakes. They get hit out at their where they do a lot of fracking. But the center craton of the United States has been moving. And you weren't here last week, but a piece of the I-40 bridge cracked. I guess it was like a dude.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right? It was a dude like on a kayak that was going underneath.
Hey, look at that.
Yeah, that's all like the inspector missed like this huge crack. And so I don't know. There's been a big uptick of earthquake activity back there.
I heard you tell James that's the bridge you crossed over to get to camp.
It was. We did cross that bridge to get to through Memphis. Yeah. I was like, what?
You got it next time. You'd be like Dukes of Hazzard.
I think it's still closed. I mean, they probably have a reroute, but I think that bridge is still closed. I need to look into it. If anybody out there knows, let me know. It's going to be the one either eastbound or westbound bridge, though, right? So I mean, it's one of the two. Yeah. And I think they have a reroute, but there was a lot of that's one of the major thoroughfares on the Mississippi. So it's kind of an important bridge. So you go away for 1 week and see what happens. We got volcanoes. Yeah, exactly. Volcanoes taking us out, like crazy stuff. Alaska, Hawaii, showing signs. Krakatoa erupted again. Mount Pinatubo, like
Krakatoa.
Yeah, well, innate Krakatoa or whatever. It was just a little one. The son of Krakatoa. They call it innate Krakatoa. Have you not heard the Krakatoa is what caused the Little Ice Age when Frankenstein was written. One of those. Nice. Or, is that or Toba? When Toba erupted. One of those two. They're big volcanoes. Big. But Krakatoa, demolished itself in the process. And now a new one has risen there in its place. So they call it the son of Krakatoa. Yeah.
There you go.
Interesting stuff, man. And then even out in the desert, there's this desert area out in Arizona, I want to say. And there's been steam just coming up.
Desert.
Yeah, they pick it up on the weather.
The That's not like where the Burning Man is, and they just are indulging.
No, I don't think they've done Burning Man since
did you see
the
that
pandemic.
steam?
Yeah, they haven't done like Burning Man since the pandemic. I don't think. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just checking.
Yeah, one of my friends goes out there, believe it or not. So,
Nice.
yeah, I'm like, yeah, no, I'm good. No, that's I'm good, thanks. Yeah. Denise agrees with me. Chin leaves and the place falls apart.
I'm sorry, guys.
That's all right. You were having fun. I'm a little bit jealous, so I heard it was a good time.
I was supporting the prepper community, working hard.
Yeah. That's good. You were networking for us. We got some great people coming on the show because of that. Right? So
is that
the 6th? He's coming on the 6th. Is that next week?
I think so.
I gotta find a map or a map. I gotta get a map because I don't know.
I'm lost. Where's my calendar?
Yeah. Like, what day is it? Yeah, it is next week because Tuesday's the 1st. Yeah. So.
Yeah, he's that guy. I mean, I've known him for several years now, and kind of like took a class at High. But I actually, talked for several long conversations. He's something else. He's a good guy.
I hadn't heard
good
about
person
that.
to know.
Denise said they saw steam coming up in Louisiana too. That's a little close to home. I'm good with that one.
They were just boiling up some crawdaddies.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to.
They were just having a fish fry. That wasn't nothing to worry about.
No, it's been some crazy stuff. I'm telling you. If this is the word from the Changing Earth podcast, guys, be ready. Have a plan. Have a go bag.
Absolutely.
Right. Have some long-term food for gosh darn sakes. Buy it from preparewithchangingearth.com and support the show. Do us a favor too. Do yourself a favor. Do us a favor. Water storage. Just we don't know. Nobody ever knows what tomorrow's going to bring. So why not be ready for it, to make your life a little bit easier.
Have fun with it too.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of skills and stuff are fun to learn and experiment with. So
yeah,
don't make it a chore. Have fun. Do it with the family. Just do some cool stuff.
Yeah, go, like I say, making vinegar and stuff. I mean, that's neat, like things that it's like a science project for the kids and everything.
Yeah, right.
And Christian, he loves the garden. He's always out there eating green beans and stuff like that. How often, are you like, eat your green beans? He's out there picking them. Here, Mom, you want one? It's like candy to him.
Crunch, crunch. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's definitely worth doing and protecting yourself and just being ready. It's going to make your life that much more easy. And if your life is that much more easy, then you can in turn help other people. And that's how we get that community that can be resilient instead of fall apart if something were to happen. So prayers that everybody's out there being safe and staying safe, but be prepared, yourself. All right. Well, we got to get out of here, Chin. Well, it's that time.
Yes, ma'am.
So until next time, remember, dream,
survive,
thrive. Thank you for joining Sarah and Chen for this episode of the Changing Earth podcast at www.authorSarahFHathaway.com. If you love the Changing Earth series,